And we're live. Welcome back to another episode of Off the Record with KyleSellsBiz. And guess what? This is our first one for the year because yours truly needed some rest and relaxation and getting recharged and ready for the new year. So I'm very excited to have a special guest for our first episode, Miss Yvonne Dam. For many of you guys that are tuning in to me over the past few months, we call it Off the Record for a reason because it's a very candid, fireplace style interview. I like to learn a lot about my guests and their background and their journey to where they are today in their business and their careers. Most folks that tune in to Kyle Says Biz Off the Record, you either hear because you're a business owner, want to learn more aspects of how to better grow your business, want to get access to the right professionals to help you grow your business, or you're a professional, just want to expand your knowledge in different aspects of business. I mean, there's so many different things when it comes to running a business you need to be aware of. So my goal and what fulfills me in my day-to-day work is bringing these resources to the small business community, whether it be attorneys, CPAs, planners, coaches like what Yvonne is. I want to be your resource to help you and help your family and your business and achieve the goals that you want. So today we have a very special guest, Miss Yvonne Dam, and she is the founder of Amaze Yourself. And I'm going to share a little bit about her. And so Miss Yvonne Dam is an executive business coach for driven CEOs who crave more growth, freedom, and more income to enjoy life. Through her programs and VIP coaching, Yvonne shifts your view on what business success looks like. It's not about working endless hours. It's about smart growth, earning more, and living life your way. When she's not guiding business owners to success, Yvonne loves moments by the beach, which I do too as well, and enjoys her favorite champagne. Nice. Oh, I got to find out what that champagne is. I'm a big champagne drinker myself. Ready to work smart, make more, unapologetically live life. Let's pave the way to your next level with Amaze Yourself. So Yvonne, hey, I'm excited to have you on our broadcast, and we have some cool stuff we've been working on coming up soon. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that as we progress in our programming. But why don't you start off, tell a little bit about your journey and what led you to specialize in personalized business strategies? We could probably start there. And welcome.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you so much for having me because I'm very excited to be here today. Well, I started my career as an international tax lawyer and in one of the two big audit firms. And I actually climbed the corporate ladder quite quickly. I held leadership positions in finance, HR, sales and business development. And the last 15 years of my career, and that grew into my own business, I've been working on change management, making companies better. I've been coaching executives since 2004, and my heart really, beats for business owners, entrepreneurs who really want to grow their business, because I love to develop people. I love to help them perform better. And I just love business, right? So nothing better than to help someone to grow their business to the next level, but in a way that they also have some time to enjoy life. Because if you work nonstop 24/7, there's less enjoyment that I see. So that's the one thing I really care for, that to give people some time back.
I mean, that's so true. I mean, you work your butt off and like for what, right? So what's the end result? What's the end goal? And finding time, as you love to do, to go on the beach and spend time with family and sipping your champagne or whatever your choice of poison is. But yeah, I love that. And so we definitely share some passions there. So you mentioned that you've been coaching since 2004, and I happen to know one of your clients, and she has mentioned to me that work with you, she has doubled her business. So that's really exciting. Can you maybe share a little bit about what distinguishes, your approach from other business coaches in the market?
Of course, yes, because there are many.
Yeah.
What my clients give back to me, because I think that's the main thing, right? One of them says, you really become a member of my team. My coaching is very personal. I work with the founder, with the CEO. I really help them on a personal level, which then in turn helps them to succeed better. Because we all know, quite frankly, it gets lonely at the top. You
Yes.
know, it's a very true saying. You either have people around you that always say yes and never ask the nasty questions, or you
Hmm.
have people that you pay, so they're not going to be honest either. And that's where I make a difference. I ask the questions that you maybe have wandering in your head, but you're not really wanting to ask.
Hmm.
And I'm Dutch, and the Dutch people are famous for their directness.
Yes.
I'm not direct, but I do ask the nasty questions. So I tell it like it is. And that's something that sets me apart. And I also have a philosophy that there is no cookie cutter approach. We are all different. We all have different strengths. We have different preferences. So what I like to do is to work with you to find out what is important for you, what goes easy, what do you love to do, but what do you also hate? And from that, we build a strategy that works because it actually builds upon your strengths instead of focusing on your weaknesses. And that's, I think, what makes it different.
Yeah, I love that because most CEOs and entrepreneurs, over a period of time, they are almost in a bubble, almost insulated, and sometimes it doesn't always happen, but sometimes they form a team of yes men and women that just want to please them, but it's refreshing for someone that they can turn to, and that can ask those tough questions, get down to nitty gritty and figure out what makes them tick. Like me personally, like I just love positive criticism. Like, hey, that's punch holes in everything that I do because I want to be the best that I could be, and in life and in business and everything else. So um, I love that approach. I think that's a unique skill set that you have, and passion you have working with your clients. So I definitely love that directness that you have. Um, I like examples. I like stories. I like hearing, how things have worked in story format. Maybe you could probably share some examples of results some of your clients have achieved using your business strategies.
Sure. So let's start with the example you mentioned, right? I have a client, and she's amazing, Heather, and she's a serial entrepreneur. Um, many business owners that I know, and I think you you fit the perfect picture. They don't have just one business, right? They start with one, and then a new one comes along, and then before they know it, they have two or three. Or if they have one business, they have multiple larger projects. That's very often the clients that I work with. And I love that. But what also quickly happens when you have multiple businesses, the question is, where do I focus on? How do I grow them without getting overwhelmed? Because we all know you can't do everything at the same time. So what we did, Heather and I, when we start working together, we really looked at, okay, what needs your attention right now, and what can we focus on to help that business grow? And with that growth, what can we use to help the other business growth? So there wasn't that we said, well, we're not going to grow both businesses. We did, but we really made sure that we had a strategy that prioritized at the right time. And then the other thing is that we also looked at, okay, right now, a lot of the things you might do yourself, but how can we make sure that there's automation, there's a team, so that we actually free you up to do more in the other business, which really was a passion project. And with that, and streamlining the processes, things really took off. And in 6 weeks, she doubled her business. So
Wow.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
That's an amazing testament. And I want to get back to something you share, but I do want to remind folks that we are streaming live right now on multiple platforms. You're joining us here with Miss Yvonne Dam, founder of Amaze Yourself. You're tuned into Off the Record with KyleSellsBiz, and we are streaming on Facebook. Welcome, Yvonne friends on Facebook, LinkedIn Live, Twitter, which is now called X, YouTube, and Twitch. So if you have any comments, questions, be sure to put it in the comment box, and we're going to get back to everyone. And we will definitely share Yvonne's contact information so you can get a hold of her. So you touch on something that I love, right? When it comes to scaling and growing your business, as one person, there's really that much that you can do. And in my line of work, when I'm selling companies, I'm dealing with buyers who want to invest in companies. There's a segment of that population I call, corporate refugees, right? They've came from the corporate world. They're used to working for someone, but now they want to invest in a business they can call their own and grow their own asset. The problem is they bring the same mentality that they've had in the corporate world. Because the corporate world, you're trying to keep your job. You don't want to make yourself replaceable. So you try to do a little bit extra for that job security. But when you're running your business, it's completely different, right? Yvonne, you want to be able to delegate. You want to be able to create workflows, automations, and you want to just put all the stuff on someone else so you can be the visionary, the chief strategist in your company and work on growing your business as opposed to work in your business, right? So maybe you could expand upon that. Just mention about building the team, automation, and so on. Can you talk a little bit more about that if you don't mind?
Yes. Yeah, and I love that you mention it, because I believe that that's really the power of growth. That's the acceleration. And all too often, I love that you say corporate refugees. I'm going to steal that from you if you don't mind.
I
Because
stole
I
it from
think
someone
it's
else.
brilliant.
For me.
But whether it's a corporate refugee or whether it's someone that really likes control, in the end of the day, the more you do yourself, the less you basically can grow. That's what it comes down to. And that's why I always start with an assessment. What's happening in your business? What are you doing yourself? What's the ROI on your time spent? And maybe who can do this better, quicker, and cheaper? And then if we have seen that, how can we outsource it? And outsourcing can be automation, because a lot of things these days can be automated, which is amazing. And then we look at what are the right systems. And if it's in a system, then it becomes quite quickly easier for someone else to handle. You don't need to know all the tech. Hire someone to do it for you and do what you do best, which is indeed innovating, talking to the right people, and growing your business in that way. And very often people are anxious, right? They feel like, oh, there's no one who does it like me. So that's when we look at the processes. What do you have in place? Do you have SOPs or standard operation procedures? How can we make sure that there's a training menu, because you're growing your business? So maybe you have a few team members now, but you will have a bunch in the future. So the thing is that we kind of streamline things in your way so that okay, it's done how I like to do it. And then it feels more safer to hand it over. We find the right people for you. Mm-hmm. And because it's all documented, it will be done in the way that you like it. And then it becomes easier to hand it over, and things will actually, free up your time to grow.
Yeah, you made you had a golden nugget there that actually resonated with me a lot. SOPs and streamlining your processes. And sometimes companies are so eager to grow, they bring people in. But if you're going to bring people into a mess, it creates some challenges as far as what their actual job description is, what they're brought here to do. And most people, when they come into a new business, when I say people, I mean management employees that you hire, a lot of times they want to come to an oil machine and they want to figure out, okay, what my next steps are. You always talk about having like a 90-day onboarding process for new employees. So, from personal experience, we had some issues with our processes, and we had brought in operations manager. I was like, okay, well, this is our problem. go fix it. But I learned from experience that that's not the way to do it. You want to first sit down with someone like yourself, work out the SOPs, the standard operating procedures, streamline your process, right? Figure out what your strategy, your model is, your funnel is, and then find the right people to go execute that, right? So I love what you shared there. Do you have any advice for set up an effective business strategy that resonates with individual business needs? Everyone has their different needs as far as running their business.
Yes. So for a personalized strategy, what I like to do is I like to look back. Okay. And I'm going to give you an example that everybody will identify with. A lot of times when we set our goals, what do we look at? We look at the things we want to improve. Mm-hmm. So for example, you're like, well, you know what? My social media management could be better because I'm not getting leads from social media. So my goal is social media. Next time, I'm really going to focus on that, and that's going to happen. in a way, it makes sense because this is how we're used to do it. But I would like to challenge that, because I would like to say, well, if you're not great at social media, why would you make it your goal?
Mm-hmm.
Rather, look back and what worked well for you. And this is where the personalized bit comes in. And for example, if you're a people person that likes to meet people one-on-one, if you are a great networker that everywhere I go, I know people and people know me, and that's how
Right.
they refer business to me. That's what makes me alive. Well, by all means, set your goal to more networking, because what's going to happen? You love it. It's not a big thing for you because you love it anyway. So you're great at it and your business is going to grow. Whereas on the other side, you have to do social media, which you don't like because it's online. There's nothing personal. Basically, you don't know what to write and you're stuck in it. You
Mm-hmm.
can already feel the difference in just how I explain it. And that's what I really, am an advocate of. Look at what works well for you. Look at what you do well and what you love to do and do more of that. And then with the extra, you can hire someone to do the social media for you, who has the same thing that you have for networking. They have about social media, and then you have a win-win.
Yeah, I love that. It's just seeing what's your superpower, right? What's what's your magic? What do you do best? Focus on that and hire for the rest. Was that a bar
Yes,
I just dropped? Oh,
yes,
yeah, I love that.
yes, you did. Yeah.
So yeah, I love that, and we get caught up in I mean, sometimes myself, I get caught up in the minutia sometimes because most business owners, you can relate to this being a coach, working with a lot of business owners, like, you know what, is this quicker for me to do it myself, right? If I have to go hire someone and train them, it's going to take too much time. Like, I just want to get it done, right? And you just could believe when you just train that one person, get someone in that actually knows how to do it. And most people, believe it or not, a lot of my clients think they're irreplaceable, right? Because they
Yes.
started a business, they grew it, and it's like, hey, I've done so well, no one else could have done this better. But a lot of times you get to a point where your sales plateau and like you can't take the business any further, and you got to bring in the help, right? Start delegating, and you get bored, right? You get bored, like doing the
Yes.
monotony of running the business over and over, doing the same things. It's like, so you end up getting stale, and you're reached to a point where there's no more excellence, no more innovation, and that's a trigger. Hey, you know what? I need to get someone in here to help.
Yeah.
Take my business to the next level, train my team, get some people in here. So I'm loving this. Can you talk about address some of the common pain points, like needing clear direction and focus? Most entrepreneurs are like chasing that next shiny object and so on. So you could talk a little bit about that, how we can be more focused
Yes.
in our
We
business.
all have the shiny object syndrome, I
Yes,
think.
yes.
Um, and that's where I really believe that you have to start with, like Stephen Covey says, start with the end in mind.
Yes,
What
I
do you
love that.
want to achieve? What is it? Be very clear. I want to double my business. Okay, what does it mean? How much extra money am I going to make? How much services or products am I going to sell? What does it mean in time? Because very often we have a very audacious goal, which I love. But then if I look at what I need to sell for that, it's never going to happen with the time we have available. So really work it backwards, do the maths, calculate it. And once that's clear, then we look at, okay, and what's the way that I'm going to achieve that? And then I always challenge my clients to set a very strict and confirmed strategy, the priorities for at least 3 months.
Mm,
So let's say part of you is that you do LinkedIn Lives because you
right.
attract the most amazing people and you love it, and the people love it. You get inquiries of it and you get more clients. Great, keep doing that.
Hmm.
But then don't start with, oh, I like LinkedIn Lives. Well, let me then also start a webinar because it's
Hmm.
almost the same, right? I'm
Hmm.
not saying you should never do it, but set a certain period where you commit yourself to do certain things, after which you will evaluate, hey, did this bring in the right clients? How do I like
Hmm.
it? How does my team like it? Maybe I need to switch it up a bit. Whereas what often happens, we start something, we hear something new, we hear something new, we hear
Hmm.
something new. Before we know it, we've got 5 things all unfinished, and then we wonder why we're not growing.
Yeah. I can You're talking straight to my soul here. So actually, I love focusing on LinkedIn. There's also Instagram Live, and I know we are streaming on multiple platforms, but LinkedIn is where I'm mostly on. But yeah, you're 100% right. You want to do the direct mail. You want to do the calls. You want to do the speaking events. You want to do affiliate programs. You want to do memberships. You want to build multiple sites for each one of the products and services. It's like, focus on one thing. And I like what you shared about doing it for 3 months, because you're building a habit and you're also testing. So this works great on one platform, right? Then you could actually duplicate that on others. And that same analogy can be used for products and services as well, right? So you're launching a new product. Before you move to the next product, make sure that you get some good feedback, some testimonials, and that first product is a success before moving on. So I love that. Let's talk about leveraging emotional strength, why don't we? And tell me, in your view, how can emotion be utilized as an asset and build in business strategy and coaching? Let's talk a little bit more about emotional strength.
I think emotional strength is incredibly important. I'll share a story with you of another client of mine. He's an amazing entrepreneur, again, a serial entrepreneur, and he's like next level innovative thinking. Love that. But with next level innovative thinking, especially in these times where things rapidly change, there's a lot of stress, truly a lot of stress. And then he has a global company, multiple employees. So there was a lot of pressure on him, right? And when we discussed it, he knew that he really needed an outlet for his emotions. And he needed to get physical. And basically, he really needed Krav Maga. I don't know whether you've heard of it, but it's a kind of martial arts where you really, really get to kick someone. And it was so interesting to see. The whole time he was like, I'm too busy. I can't find anyone. There's no time for me. And every time I was asking, how are you doing? He's like, yeah, I'm drained. Like, okay, and now I'm done. You're going to find someone and you're going to kick some ass, right? Literally.
Right.
He did that. He incorporated that in his morning routine. We set certain other elements up for his morning routine, like meditation, really make sure that he had some time for self-care as well. Like taking a lunch, not just, behind your laptop, but away from it. And he got that emotional stability, that inner strength that so upped his performance that his business grew.
Wow.
And it's something that we're all busy. So we very often, well, I'll work out another day, or I don't have time to meditate or sit in prayer or whatever you do. And before we know it, we become the rat race. We keep running. There's no way out. But it is really finding what you need to recharge your battery and make sure you plan it in your calendar, because once it's on your calendar, it's going to happen. If it's not going to happen. And that can really boost your energy, help your emotions, and you become calmer as well. And if you're calmer, you're quicker to make instant decisions, which then will help your growth as well.
Yeah, I'm loving everything you're saying. And it sounds so simple, but sometimes the simplest things is that things we overlook, right? So like the night before, I write down my 3 top goals I want to accomplish the next day. And it's like, these athletes that run these crazy marathons, 100 meters, like they actually envision themselves running the race before they actually physically run the race. Like they run the race in their mind. They see themselves, the entire process of what they do, and see them finishing the race. So the same thing in business. Okay, well, like essentially what I do for work, like I envision myself, I live myself through the next day as far as what I'm going to accomplish mentally. So that the meditation is very important, and setting aside that self-care and fitness and all that, because it does affect you when you're off emotionally and you're off physically. It affects you in your business, and your clients and your customers see that. So I love that analogy. Now we have some special stuff coming up that we're doing together. I know you have some programs coming up. why don't we talk a little bit about what you have coming up in store and how folks can get a hold of you?
Yes. So we talk a lot about personalized business strategy, and
Yes.
there's so much more to unpack, and that's what I'm going to do. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, actually next week, the 22nd, 23rd, and the 24th at 11 a.m. Eastern, I'm hosting the CEO Plan Clinic. We already talked about it, 90 days where you can make a difference. Well, that's what you're going to get out of it. You get your own personalized strategy that really is going to help you to crush your goal. If you want to know more, I need to see that. You see the QR code.
I'm
If
going
you
to scan it
scan that,
myself just to make sure.
and then you get there. Yeah. So and it's going to be phenomenal. I'm so excited. I have got so much to share that I'm already wondering, okay, it's only an hour a day. But it's really good. I've got a great group of entrepreneurs together, and it's going to be very inspiring.
Awesome. And this is being
actionable.
done virtual.
Yes, it's all virtual. Yeah. And it's all
3-day
recorded.
challenge. I love challenges. I'm so freaking competitive. It's like, hey, I love doing these things where,
Yes.
Yeah,
and
this is
it's
awesome.
immediately implementable. So it's not like,
Yeah.
okay, something you need to do. No, I'm going to ask you questions. It's very interactive. You're going to walk away with like, yes, this is what I'm going to do. That's really the game changer. It's the game changer to set yourself up for success for 2024.
Awesome. So we'll make sure to share this in the show notes. And then we have an event that we're doing together on February 23rd, Vision Me 2024. And we did this a few years ago. It's a vision board experience. And we have some awesome business owners and business leaders going to be joining us for this event. So I'm going to put the link here to it. Maybe we could share a little bit of what folks can expect at this half-day workshop.
I when you just said that, how you visualize and how people like Usain Bolt, they see themselves sprinting the race, and because they do that, there's research shown that because they visualize it, they actually become better. And if you want to become better in your business, you do not want to miss out on this 23rd of February. It's going to be an awesome day where we're really going to work on your vision. How do you see it? How do you see it materialize? And it's just one of those that you don't want to miss, because it's going to help you to elevate. And I'm very excited because I'm going to be there and talking about the strategy as a very small part of it. But the entire day in Vision Me is just going to be so boosting for your business, because it is about that inner work that you can do that we often overlook. That's going to make actually hitting your goals easier, because you've done the inner work and you're going to succeed.
Yes, I mean, I love it. I can't wait to host you, and it's going to be spectacular. I have accomplished many things using the same process before, and as you mature and you get more advanced in your career, some things start accelerating. So I'm excited to be part of this progress and this clinic myself personally. And I'm looking to bring some of my colleagues with me as well to experience what I have experienced in the past. So I'm extremely looking forward to this. I'm excited to be honest. As we close things off, Yvonne, any final thoughts? Any last words of wisdom you want to share with our listening audience?
Yes, I really want to say, if you're gearing up for 2024, and most of us already started, really stick with what you love to do and what you're amazing at. And very often we don't recognize what we're amazing at. And that's called the zone of genius. Because we are so good at it that we think everybody can do it, and that we actually feel a bit awkward to get paid, or to get paid well, because it's so easy. So why would someone pay premium for this? Because it comes naturally. That's what you're looking for. That's your zone of genius, and that you should do more of. Because if you are in that zone, then you give so much value to your clients and the people that work with you, that they actually come knocking on your door. So find your zone of genius and do more of that. And that will be booming.
I love that. And that's actually one. I just put the link for your program in the chat so folks can your CEO clinic that's coming up next week. So those of you that are listening, you can check it out. And we got some good comments here. Jason Heffelbaum is talking about how you're preaching the truth here. And Jason's a great guy to me because he actually builds out SOPs and he actually does that technical writing. So that's someone you two should definitely definitely
Yes.
connect. But yeah, the zone of genius, you want to operate in a space where you at your superpower, you're fully charged and you hit your goals, you're happy doing what you're doing, you feel very fulfilled. I love that. And delegate everything else. If there's one nugget that you don't take away from today is delegating, automation, and the stuff you don't like doing, you don't want to do, even though you might be good at, find someone else to do it. And the simplest analogy I like to use is figure out what you make per hour, what your billable rate is. Any task that you're currently doing that you can hire someone and pay them less, essentially. So if your billable hour is 50, 100, 200, 1,000, wherever it is, and you're doing these, $25 an hour tasks, that's a clear reason that you need to delegate that and focus on your zone of genius. So with that being said, Yvonne, I appreciate you. I appreciate your time. Thank you for tuning in. And for those who haven't spoken to for the year, Happy New Year. I think we say that I'm not sure until when, but this is our first broadcast of the year. So happy New Year to everyone. Wishing everyone a successful 2024 and hope to see you at the CEO Clinic or at Vision Me 24 event coming up on February 23rd. Thank you so much and have a great day.
Thank you.
Awesome.